live stream. How's everybody doing today? How is everyone doing today? How's everybody doing today? Type in the chat. Who's watching? Give a couple more minutes and get a couple people more in here so we get this update going. Y'all ignore that the words on the top there where it says emergency tropical update on Invest 95L. It's not Invest anymore, it's Hurricane Beryl, so just ignore that part right there. I'll have to edit that later. If y'all hear talking in the background, that's my mom on a work call right now, so just letting y'all know now. We'll get a couple more people in here. We'll get a couple more people in here. We'll get a couple more people in, and then we'll get started, y'all. We'll get started. Okay, we'll get started now. So we'll get this started and see if how many people jump in, and if they have questions, we'll answer them. All right, y'all. Welcome to another live stream. This is Brian Davis, WX Enthusiast. We are going to be going over a live update on Hurricane Beryl, Category 4 hurricane as it stands right now. This thing is about to make landfall in the Lesser Antilles. Here in the Lesser Antilles, Barbados, you have got saved. This center of the storm went just to your south. But you're still getting some pretty strong winds with this storm as well. You got the outer eye wall with this storm as well. You can just see by the satellite, this thing had, we'll go over a pretty much substantial long live stream. This is going to be a pretty long live stream, y'all. Probably longer than yesterday. But this is a historic hurricane. This thing weakened to a Category 3 this morning, went through an eye wall replacement cycle, and this thing intensified just as it was 20 miles before making landfall into the Lesser Antilles. This thing was Category 3, and now you see it strengthened back into a Category 4. So this thing started as a tropical storm Friday morning, and then it just skyrocketed the last 2 days, skyrocketed up to a Category 4 and a Category 3, then Category 4 again. So, this is a pretty substantial hurricane. Let's go to a last 50 frame loop, and I'll show you what this thing did. I'll zoom out a little bit more here. So you can see, I'm going to slow down the projection with this. So as we're looking at this hurricane, you can see where this thing went over eye wall replacement cycle. You can see, and boom, the eye just covered up a little bit. Cloud cover covered it up as some dry air came in with this. So you can see, boom, dry air came in, and then it's just kept on going, and now this thing re-strengthened back into a Category 4. So once we get, I'll show y'all the aircraft data from the recon data and the Air Force data. But this thing it's just now making landfall. So the outer bands of the storm, the eye wall, which is the strongest part of the storm, the western eye wall, It's just now hitting Hillsborough, Charlestown, Ashton, down in those Grenada's down here. Well, yeah, Grenada down here, and this thing is Hillsborough is about to get into the eye, so they're about to get into the center of the circulation. Um, this thing expected to be a Category 4. It's still a Category 4 as it stands. The pressure did drop. I mean, its pressure dropped again. The pressure kept dropping to 956. It was 963 earlier. This thing's a 956 pressure drop now. It dropped to one pressure. It was 957 as of the 7 a.m. update, the 11 p.m., the 11 a.m. update, 956 now. So only dropped one pressure drop there. It's still going to be a Category 4. It's still forecasted to be a Category 4 still as it has west of the islands. The same Hurricane Beryl expected about 1 a.m. tomorrow morning. Still Category 4 as it has south of Puerto Rico. So Puerto Rico is up here. And here's your Hurricane Beryl, the center of circulation. So don't just focus on the cone itself. The cone itself is where the center is forecasted to go. The impacts could go way far out of the center of the storm. So some of y'all, I know some people just focus on this cone itself, and they say, "Oh, I'm gonna get missed." No, that's technically not what's gonna happen. You have, you could have storms. You can see how Beryl go way far out south of San Juan, Puerto Rico, and you can still have really heavy rainfall without a rain bands expanding to the north of that system. So this is going to be a far-reaching, impacting kind of historic storm. So um, we're gonna have you're gonna have some rip current issues across Puerto Rico. We have tropical storm watches in effect right now in Puerto Rico. Well, it's high rip current issues, alerts now in Puerto Rico. We have tropical storm watches in effect for Cuba, for this part of Cuba, for the southern part of Cuba, as well as the northern part of Cuba, as the outer bands make its way into those areas. Staying expected to hit southern part of Jamaica. I think they just gave that new update here. Let's look at it. So it just now, it made landfall. So it did gain some strength. It was 130 mile per hour hurricane, Category 4. You see where that, we can see where that, the wind's now 140 mile per hour wind speed. So this thing did gain some strength as the lower the pressure goes, the higher the winds go. So the stronger the winds get. So we have a 956 millibar pressure drop, and now it's a 140 mile per hour hurricane, which is Category 4 strength. So yeah, this thing's supposed to be a Category 1 as it hits the Yucatan, 75 mile per hour Category 1 hurricane. Tropical Storm Beryl as it heads into the southern Gulf, southwestern Gulf. The cone does have it going to a farther northwestern turn, so could this thing make a run for the southern Texas coast? Possibly. We'll look at the models here in just a little bit. This could make a run for the U.S. If the storm does go back into a recycling period, and it does re-strengthen, or if it does weaken, or if it goes into the Gulf and it re-strengthens back into a hurricane, even though it's forecasted to be a tropical storm, it could be really bad here in the U.S. So which said U.S. is not 0% away from this storm. Just have to keep an eye on it. Let's go to the forecast models, y'all. Let's go to the forecast models, and we'll take a look at the recon data here. Let's take a look at it. So first, we'll take a look at the NOAA mission that finished earlier into the data, into the storm. So here we go. So this map may be a lot of confusing to y'all, but I'm gonna try to break it down for y'all as much as I can. So we have the Aircon started the NOAA airplane, the Air Force plane, started right here. You can see where they flew right up into that system. Um, they flew right up into that system. From right here, they did some drop zones with this into the system. So drop zones are like wind barbs, some wind animators to cover the wind speeds and stuff. So it did a track kind of like this. So at the bottom here, you can see where we have the blues, 10 to 20 knots, and then we have those darker blues, 20 to 30 knots, and then the green, the light green goes to 45 knots. This is the flight levels, this is the upper level winds. So this is not your lower level winds, your peak 10-meter winds. So you can see where they took that track and they flew right up into the northern part of the storm. So you can see they flew into the northern eye, the northern outer edge of the eye wall, and they did a couple of donut holes right through the middle, and then they did another one to the north of that to measure the wind speeds there. And then they did a drop zone here. See if I can zoom in here at 960 millibar pressure there, and within one of the drop zones that came in. Um, that measured probably about maybe we were close to 96 to 113 knots, which is close to 130-mile-per-hour winds. Um, so it's a big deal here in the seeing this early season, this early June hurricane. This is a recon, your pressure drop, so you can see where they started down here at 109 millibars, and then they go up to 1013.5 millibars. So you can see not as much, not as much pressure dropping, but still steady up in the upper levels here. These maps here, your flight level winds, you can see how they flew into there. They flew right here and close to the eye up here, and then they when they flew in the eye, the pressure dropped because once you go into the center of the eye of the hurricane, it's going to be calm. It's straight calm inside that center of the eye. So when you go through the eye, it's straight calm, and then the winds go back up. Flight level winds up to close to 60 miles, 60 knots. So we'll have to continue to wind speeds at 60 miles per hour, and then they finished it off heading back into their area, heading back toward one of the Lesser Antilles. We'll go to the Air Force. We'll go to another Air Force plane, the Recon, the Renaissance. This plane right here measures the lower level winds into the storm. So right now they're in the storm right now. They're collecting observations with this storm right now. Um, you can see they had a little pressure drop. That's what gained it 140-mile-per-hour winds right there. It dropped one pressure. You can see right here it dropped, and then right here it dropped as well. So their pressure dropped maybe two millibars as it stands right now. So 956, and then it dropped right here, maybe closer, maybe a high end category 4. So we'll have to continue to watch it. You can see here the last last wind animator dropped, the drop zone dropped at 956, so that's what gained that strength up to 140 miles per hour. So it was at 960 earlier, about 1 a.m. this morning, and now it's at 956, a category 4 hurricane, and they're still into that storm. So you can see where they are right now. They're right here, flying into it, and they're going to do another loop through the eye. So we'll continue to watch that. And then we'll go to the models here. Let's go to the model runs and let's look. This is charcoaltidbits.com. The one of the weather models I use to look at the storm. And I'll show you another cool feature from to look at this hurricane in high definition on high def radar. So we'll look at that here in a minute as well. Okay, so back to talking about Hurricane Beryl. We got Hurricane Beryl making landfall as of right now at 10 a.m. Landfall has just been made at 10 o'clock earlier, 5 minutes ago. You can see 958 pressure drop, 958 category 4 hurricane, a very strong category 4 hurricane as it stands. And And this thing strengthened and it got weaker once the eye wall replacement cycle came through, and then boom, it strengthened again, and then makes landfall as the high end category 4. Um, you can see here this model has it going west of the islands here at 4 p.m. today, so still be a category 4 um, as it stands. This one has it as a category 5 into the Caribbean. I mean, it's not zero, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to strengthen as it gets into the Caribbean. I mean, there's a possibility it could, but I don't think. I think it. I don't think the as it makes its way toward Yucatan, I think it has a lesser chance to still be a Category 3 or higher, but still be a strong hurricane, still be impactful hurricane. It just won't be as strong. But don't say, but don't think in your head, that's all I'm getting, and it's not going to be, if it's not strong, you're going to be thinking to yourself, it's not a strong hurricane, I'm not going to get hit, or I'm not going to get flooded. This, you can see how far these outreaching impacts are. So you can see the outer bands right here, some more outer bands, still raining there in the islands a little bit. So that's why I'm saying you still got to watch this storm very carefully. As I go back, this thing gets weaker, gets a little weaker a little bit. So this thing could still get a little weaker as it heads toward the Yucatan. Um, we'll go. There's Jamaica right here. Here's Jamaica right here. This is what I'm saying. So the center of the storm may not go right over Jamaica. It may just go to the south, but you still have flooding rains hitting. You still have more flooding rains hitting Jamaica as it stands. So don't think to yourself, I'm not going to get flooding rains, because these outer bands could produce really heavy rainfall. Rainfall rates at the 2 to maybe 3.5 inches per hour rainfall rates there. And still, the impacts go way beyond the center of the storm. If the stronger of the winds don't go over exactly your area, you can still get some really heavy rainfall um, away from the center of that storm. So that's what I'm stressing to y'all. And this thing, the H wharf, this model we're looking at, has this weakening into a low end tropical storm, Category 1 hurricane, as it has, well, Category 1 low end tropical storm, um, as it heads toward the Yucatan. And then there's the Yucatan right here. You see, we have 12 hurricane force winds arriving at 10 p.m. on Friday, June 5th. And you see Category 1 hurricane. It has an area where it could re-strengthen into a hurricane, but not a strong hurricane, but still a big flooding rains heading into Mexico. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Also, this has it heading into a Category 2 hurricane forecasted. Don't take this model serious. Don't take this model 100%. These models aren't 100% right. They're not always right. They're not right all the time. So don't take that seriously. But it's giving us a general idea where the storm is heading and where the center of the storm might go, as well as where the track might go as well. So show you all the European GFS models here in a minute, some outlier models. You can see as it goes over the mountain areas, the Yucatan is to a tropical storm because it's over land and it gets weaker. And this is where we gotta watch out for. So if this goes into the Gulf, this thing has 2 ways it could go. It just depends on the high pressures over in the central and the south central US. If the So this storm Beryl could go farther north. It could go straight west into Mexico. So it could go 2 ways. I'll show you on radar Omega here and go there. So let's go to radar Omega. If Beryl, so let's say Beryl, after it's done in the Yucatan and it goes into the Gulf as a tropical storm, this thing could keep its track and go west into Mexico and head into the Pacific, or the storm could definitely, or this thing could take a northern turn and northern jog and go right up toward Texas. There is a possibility with the blocking highs that are just to the north of this system. could steer this thing to the north. And if this thing steers to the north, it will bring some heavy rainfall, some gusty winds down into southern Texas. If you're in Florida and you're watching, this thing is not going to hit Florida. This thing is too far south to hit Florida. Um, if this thing does hit Florida, something went wrong, and we don't even know about it. So this thing will not go and impact Florida. This is mainly a Gulf Coast, a maybe southwestern Louisiana, Texas coast storm, maybe. We'll see. Um, but that's your two areas. So I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all something cool. So your surface fronts. All right, so this might look a little confusing to y'all. So here's Hurricane Beryl down here. This is what I was talking about. So Hurricane Beryl, as it exits the Yucatan and goes into the Gulf, this thing, like I said, there's a high pressure here, and there's a front, some down here, so like a front down there. So we have a stalled out boundary that's causing some severe weather down in the Midwest as of today and this week. And we also have a high pressure right here. And we have another one right here. And we have the front right here. So if this high pressure moves farther to the west a little bit, and these two high pressures far west, it will steer to the north. And this thing could head into Texas and see what kind of impacts we have. But since we have the high pressure here, it's most likely going to track and hit Mexico. That's my take on it. If anything changes, I will let y'all know. But as it stands right now, U.S. impacts are going to be very low to minimal right now, as of right now. You see, the Hurricane Hunter, the National Hurricane Center, has this thing going into Mexico, into the Gulf, and it has a little northern jog, so a northern northwestern jog. Um, this thing could easily shift. So the cone itself, the center of the storm, has it go into a farther northwestern turn. Possibly that's their cone. So go by the pros, by the National Hurricane Center forecasters there. Um, but still, keep an eye on the storm. If you're in Texas, Houston, down Brownsville, Texas, still keep an eye on this well. Sort kind of was some sort of impact as far as southern coast of Texas, I think. So that's that. We go back to the models here. I told you I'll show y'all the GFS model here. So let's go. Let's first look at the European model. The European model here is an outlier model. I think this thing has done a really bad job on Beryl as a whole. This thing did a really bad job on the whole thing. So this thing has it as a weak category 2 hurricane, as it has south of Puerto Rico and Cuba. No, this thing did a really bad job on it. Don't. That's why y'all saw a couple of days ago, the European had like a category 5 hitting the Mexico coast and areas and the Leeward Islands, and it didn't, and now this thing, and now yesterday it showed like a weak tropical storm hitting that area. So you can see the outlier models weren't right, and that's why I say don't trust the models 100%, and follow your local meteorologist. Don't go by what they're saying, and don't follow what I say as much, because what I say might be wrong, and some of the things might be right too, but I'm not 100% right all the time. I'm wrong almost 100% of the time, but I'm just giving y'all a good idea of what storms might be like. It's not like I'm not a meteorologist or anything. I love weather. I want to be a meteorologist, and that's my passion. So I love keeping people safe. Anyways, um, so look at the pros, like the National Hurricane Center, your local meteorologist, your the local. They're gonna give you all updates on these storms and hurricanes and tropical systems. Um, and I do want to emphasize something else. Also, any of y'all, so y'all think if any of you, and if there's anyone out there saying, um, like, what happened? This is an early start on hurricane season. Yes, this was the early June hurricane, and we still have 95 days to go until the hurricane season ends. And you have a stronger hurricane, and you have this kind of historic hurricane right now, as stronger hurricane as it is. Y'all just wait till like late July, August into September when it peaks, because these things will peak. And when hurricane season peaks, we have explosive storms coming out. So y'all just watch out for August and September, because that's when it peaks, and that's when hurricane season peaks, and it will it will get very active in August. I mean, yeah. So it will get very active in August. Let's see if um, wow, they just up, guys. We have some breaking news now, y'all. Some breaking news just came out, y'all. Wow, what and what a strengthening this thing just did. We got some breaking news, y'all. The 10 a.m. update. They just did another update on this at 10:10. Um, guys, we may have ourselves. We may have ourselves a Category 5 as it stands, a 150-mile-per-hour hurricane. Unless that was just a glitch on it. I don't know if that was a glitch or not. Let me refresh. Let me refresh this. Like, I bet it was a glitch, or it was like an intermediate advisory, maybe. Let's see what they have here on the recon. Storms. Okay. So I don't see anything that says that, because I don't know if Radio Omega is glitching, or if I was, or if I'm dreaming or not. So regardless, this thing said 950, 915 millibars early. That's weird. Okay. Anyways, we do have regardless if it's a Category 4, Category 5, it's still going to be a strong hurricane, regardless. So I'll have. Is there any questions I want to ask before we head off here? Any questions? Any questions? Is everybody watching for me? Yeah. All right, let's see. Oh, so they did update that. Okay. Okay. So they did update that. Hurricane Beryl now. So I was right. They just updated that. Man. Wow. All right, y'all. Well, this thing was at 9:57 at 10 o'clock, and they just did a little bit of an upgrade to this 150-mile-per-hour hurricane. Still Category 4, but high-end Category 4 now. Pressure dropped six more degree drops. So wow, y'all, this is advisory number 12. So they waited 10 minutes to do another intermediate advisory on it. I want to see what the, air, the aircraft models put into this. As they drop another drop zone and they measure the higher wind speed on this. I bet you I can tell y'all why they did that. Oh, I see why they did that. Okay, so this thing made landfall into the islands here, and you can see how that eye got bigger, and now it's getting smaller again. This thing might be strengthening, y'all. This thing might get intensifying right now. This thing might be intensifying as it's heading into the Caribbean right now. It's not good. I mean, this thing is getting stronger as it heads into the Caribbean. Like, this could be really bad for Yucatan. This could change the whole directory of the track here. Insane. Wow. I didn't expect it to get stronger, y'all. I mean, I knew it was going to hit the coast as a Category 4, but I didn't expect it to be a high-end Category 4. Alright, y'all got any questions? Any questions I can answer for y'all? Let me see, I'm looking in the chat. I don't see anybody except for my brother, but any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Okay. Well, alright, y'all. Well, if y'all got no more questions, I guess y'all have any more questions? I want y'all to ask questions. I mean, I want to try to answer as many as I can. We'll see here. We'll see here a little longer until like 10:30, and then we'll head off for a little bit. And then we'll do probably another live stream at like 2 o'clock, maybe 2 o'clock before I go into work. We'll do another live update at 2 o'clock. And that's when the next update comes in. So do another update there. And then I'll post updates later on in the night. And so, yeah. Any more questions? Anything y'all want to add? This thing is a very strong hurricane. I mean, this is a historic hurricane. I mean, no one expected a historic hurricane in late June. I know it's July 1st now, but this is the strongest hurricane on record in June, and the strongest hurricane to hit the islands here in late June too. So some basic information there, some historic information there. Alrighty, y'all. Well, I'm gonna head off here. Y'all like and subscribe this month. Share this stream out to as many people as y'all can, and I will have another update, a live stream here at about 2 o'clock, 2:30 ish, and I will catch y'all later. And I'll keep y'all informed of the storm. Thank y'all for tuning in to my live stream, and y'all have a good day, blessed day. Be safe out there. Thank y'all. Bye.